And intro time. Why did I say it like that?
I don't know.
Alright, game face. Hi, I'm the Space Quest historian, and this is Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers. We're up to the penultimate episode, and I am joined by my very dear and near friend. Damn it, I almost had that. Francisco Gonzalez. How you doing, man?
I'm well. The good use of the word penultimate.
Oh, thank you. It's one of those words you learn early and then realize because you're a foreign kid and you don't quite speak the language, you go, okay, that's a word that everyone uses, right? No, it is not. I learned it from a Monty Python episode. Yes.
Interesting. I learned it when I was learning how to write accent placements in Spanish.
Really? Oh, so the Spanish word for penultimate is penultimate or something like that?
Penultima.
Penultima, yeah.
And then you have antepenultima, which I don't think there's a word for in English, which is the pre-penultimate.
Ah, so episode 9 of this was the pre-penultima, and...
Yeah, antepenultima, yes, and then this is the penultimate, and then the last one is Ultima. Ultima 5. Or Ultima 10, I don't know. Anyway,
11,
it's
11.
really just figuring out what syllable the stress is on in a word determines if it gets the little mark on it.
Yeah.
And now that we've had an impromptu Spanish grammar lesson, let's play Gabriel Knight.
Yeah, let's do that. Buffering. There we go. The exciting library scene from Gabriel Knight.
The library.
Would you like to know about geography or archaeology or just random shit in the diary section?
About... Yeah, this is just like go from shelf to shelf and figure out which...
Yeah, and it kind of leads you on a string. There's a similar puzzle in Space Quest 6 where you're going through the file room and one file leads to another file, leads to another file, and you go pick all this shit up.
At least this is contained to one room, though.
Oh shit, yeah. Actually, no, you can't pick up any books that you haven't been told to pick up yet. He will refuse.
Right.
Because in Space Quest 6, you can go to that last file that the game wants you to find, and there's a big Easter egg where Gary Owens docks you 1,000 points or something.
Yeah.
Or 600 points, I don't know. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, and some of the names, some of the author names here. I'm sorry.
These are Josh Mandel contributions, for sure.
Have to be.
They
Yeah.
have to be.
John Roots is okay, but then you got, oh shit, I forget.
Seymour Shards and Earl E. Bird and... Yeah, it's really...
Early Days, I think it is.
Early
actually.
Days, that's it, yes, Early Days. I wanted to point out something about the music here. So if you... Let's take a moment to listen to the music here. So if
Virginia,
you notice,
be quiet. Yeah, it's very nice. It's very lilting. It's got a flute melody and everything.
it's got that little sort of bass thing going do 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 do. And I recently started watching Twin Peaks. And
yes. Oh.
there's a big similarity in that Twin Peaks theme song or theme tune. There,
Yeah,
you can hear it right
hear
there. That it seems like Robert Holmes lifted that do 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 from Twin Peaks, which was, you know, it had been off the air already when this game came out, but I wonder if he was a fan and he just sort of subconsciously put it in.
Well, that soundtrack to Twin Peaks is iconic and a landmark, so it could very well be. Another thing this game does a lot is play with leitmotifs, and even in that making of video that we keep bringing up, we should probably put a link to that somewhere in the description, actually.
Yeah, probably.
Robert Holmes mentions that instead of going like big and lush, he wanted to focus on a few very good themes and stick with them. And boy did he stick with them, because the Gabriel Knight theme is recurring in almost anything in the game. This tune,
Well,
you can't quite hear it, but it's actually playing the Gabriel Knight theme. That the flute melodies are kind of playing a harmonized version of the Gabriel Knight theme.
Well, the good thing about the Gabriel Knight theme is that it has like 3 different sections to it, so he pulls from each of those quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think one of my favorite examples of it is just how he makes it sound so homey in the St. George Books theme.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like That's one of my favorite examples of using a leitmotif from this big, like, intense main title theme to a nice, relaxing, cozy version.
And it's also because it's the Gabriel Knight theme itself is super easy to play. It's just you just heard it in the point sound there. Ding, 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 ding. I could play that, and I'm a shit keyboard player. And I learned how to play that, and I went, is that really it? And that is really it. But if you have such a simple, a good German Frühstück. If you have such a simple theme, it's really then it all comes down to arrangement. And Robert Holmes really kicks ass at arrangement because he can make those like 5 simple notes. I don't know how many make up. It's really simple. You can make those sound threatening, homey, mysterious, anything. And that's
Robert
what this
Holmes
game
is
does.
I think he's a great composer.
That he is.
There's this thing he does that just like I'm really into like non-conventional chord changes, I guess you could say. Or not non-conventional, but ones you don't expect, and he does that quite a lot. And I've always enjoyed him doing that.
Oh, if you like that, have you listened to the soundtrack for the movie The Virgin Suicides that
I have not.
that Air did? Really, go have a look at that. Sometimes it reminds me a bit of the soundtrack to Fate of Atlantis, which is weird.
That is kind of strange.
That's very strange for a movie about teenage suicide. Not that theme. I mean, some of the incidental.
So this bit here where the car drives away, if you hold down spacebar while that happens, the car actually swerves off the road and crashes and flies down into the village and explodes, and then you die.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I gotta go back and record that and stick this in.
Yeah.
That is, you know what? I don't think I've ever seen that.
No, it's a very bizarre Easter egg, but it's there. Also, did you know about the mime punching Easter egg?
Yes, I did know that one. If you keep clicking on the hand icon on him a lot of times.
The talk icon, actually.
The talk icon.
Because he screams at him, "Stop following me!" And then if you do it like 20 times, he'll punch the mime.
Yeah, he'll grab hold of his collar and just give him a punch, and it doesn't break the. Oh wait, this is Mark Hamill as a truck driver,
doing a terrible accent.
Maybe a while though.
And I think he's
No problem. I could use a nap.
What is that? No problem. I could use a nap. Is he supposed to be Russian?
Yeah, I don't know. People's Republic of Benin. They're from all over.
I guess.
I guess.
I don't know. The snake mound section.
Yeah. Oh god.
You gotta love that atmospheric perspective back there.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool looking.
I like that with the fog and the. I mean, the graphic design in this is really good. But once you get to this bit, and you've got that atmospheric sound effect in the background, holy shit! I am traumatized by this sequence. Utterly traumatized.
There's that great stock sound effect, but put to good use here when the corpses reanimate. That's just like that.
Yeah, it's like they lifted that from an old Roger Corman flick or something.
Did you ever play American McGee's Alice?
No, I did not.
I'm pretty sure that they used that sound effect in Alice as well. Because I remember hearing it and thinking, "Oh my God, it's the zombies from Gabriel Knight." Actually, I saw a tweet the other day. Somebody tweeted or someone retweeted somebody's tweet about what's a video game sound effect that fills you with dread or something like that, and I couldn't really think of one. And now I know that one.
The reanimating golem.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell they are.
Noise.
Now this is me.
Oh, thank goodness for editing.
Yeah, holy shit. Just briefly to explain. Yeah, and every once in a while the game does that. There's a timer running, so every once in a while Virginia just goes, "By the way, someone else is here."
Yeah.
And I hate this because you're locked in, you're blocked in. There's really nowhere to run except from this screen. And what you have to do, you have to pick up all these stones, put them in the correct order. The whole thing's a clock. There are 12 screens. Put them in the correct order, and you get this little stabby pole somewhere.
The dry Draken thing comes back into play.
Yeah. Oh, my save game is named "Fuck this part." Because truly, fuck this part. This takes forever to do, even if you know what the fuck you're doing. And once you put this thing in, you have to save your game here because
bad things happen.
Oh god. You know, we were talking about, like people standing outside of, outside of windows. That's creepy to me. Here's another thing that's creepy to me. Glowing eyes. Really hate glowing eyes.
Okay.
There it was.
Like bodies have
Oh no! You let him die.
Yeah. I just wanted to show how gory the game actually gets.
Yeah.
It gets
They eat
surprisingly
his heart.
gory.
Yeah. So I
Good
guess
morning.
reanimated corpses just really like eating living people's hearts for some reason.
Yeah, that's weird. And they specifically go after Gabriel. Also, I think they're
Oh, this part's
the golems.
shit.
Yeah.
Here, kitty. Yeah, it's true. At least they move slowly.
Yeah, they do. And I almost didn't get past them, but I did.
Oh, this part. Oh dear.
And this is such a.
believe I'm doing this.
And Tim Curry just going, what? Ah.
Oh shit.
Oh, and listen to Wolfgang's delivery on his first line.
Gabriel Knight, I presume.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. It's not like there's very terrible zombies around.
No, and
But
even
then
this
I
one.
guess
Person. Now go to it, boy. I can't hold these creatures for very
It's
long,
like he's.
and they're all
I'm like 12 feet away from them. We don't have to shout or anything. But no, they're pawing at you with their clawy, hardy out claw things.
Hurry.
Now he
that-
picks up the pace.
yeah, that one's a little better.
Yeah.
But
I found something.
Yeah, it really did. The only hole in the whole fucking room you found it.
here we go.
Gilroy.
Here's the stunt work of Wolfgang.
Yeah. Whee! And they're still pawing at thin air for no fucking reason
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah, well.
How does this work, by the way? Are we just expected to believe this is magic? Like, these things
I
come to
guess.
life when the doors open for
I
no
guess.
goddamn
Well,
reason.
there's a bit coming up here that for a long time I didn't understand it,
yeah,
and then I got the
you
official
know,
explanation, and I still don't understand it.
Is it the story that's printed on the sacrificial altar? Because I forgot to actually look at that, so we'll have to recount that.
It's how Wolfgang's heart comes out of him.
Oh yes, we can spoil that. Wolfgang is not
can.
long for this world.
No, Wolfgang is not long for this world. As every good fiction writer knows, when you have a family member and the only link to everything crazy that's going on, and the only person that understands the plight of the main character because they've been through it themselves, you have to kill them.
Off you go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's just how it works. You can only have the character spend a small amount of time with them because that's just how it works.
Yeah, you have to feel that frustration. Like, what am I supposed to do? Fuck if I know. I'm
Exactly.
off.
Exactly.
It's the Obi-Wan syndrome. It's like I might come back to help you as a ghost, but probably not.
Right.
Oh, but
But at
we
least
have time
now we get
talk.
to see his face.
Is there anything
Yeah.
else you can tell me about
Sure, you ought to take a shower. But then again, if you spent like I don't know, a couple of weeks in Africa just tooling around, no hotel room, just pissing about this inner wheel thing.
Yeah.
Also, why was he hiding from Gabriel, waiting for him to complete the clock puzzle?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
Maybe he thought, I don't know. He didn't. I mean, he knows about how these mummies like reanimate and shit. So he didn't mistake Gabe for a mummy. He was just hiding in the
Maybe he was-
rafters.
Do you know anything?
I guess the cheap answer would be that he was testing Gabriel and waiting to make sure that Gabriel could figure it out. Because he mentions that he mentions about how he hadn't made the Three Snakes connection, so maybe he tried
Oh right.
and he gave up and he got angry and he was just like, "Fuck this part," and he threw all the tiles on the ground.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he scattered them all around, just going, all right, the next fucking person who comes in has to deal with this shit.
Yeah.
And then he set up camp somewhere where you couldn't find him.
Girl means
Go please some girl. Great accent there.
Without
Yeah.
horns. It's a term used for
And it's actually kind of interesting that you can go through this entire dialogue tree with Wolfgang right now because the music is pumping. It's still doing the exciting shit is happening tune. Which is by the I think this is actually my favorite piece of music in the game.
Okay.
It's probably the synth bass. I love synth bass.
Table's lid fits heavily on
Anyway,
the bed.
this if you look at the base of the sacrificial table, I forgot to do that. It explains all this shit about the Getty idol, which again,
Yes.
spoiler I guess, but that's where they get their power from. Now no one knows where that thing came from, but some dude broke into this mound to grave rob it, I guess, and found his way in for somehow, and lifted it up and went, wow, this is awesome, and from then on, history.
Gabriel cannot take that.
He was, and then he, founded the Getty tribe or whatever, and everyone who's everyone who's in the Voodoo Murders is...
Design balls.
shit.
Good idea. Let me help you.
Malia's related to him. Fuck it.
You're right.
There you go.
Sure.
There you go. Yeah, that was the most terrible explanation of the backstory of that thing ever. next time you're playing Gabriel Knight, just look at the fucking altar. It's
Yeah. Because you get a nice little animation of Wolfgang
Let's
walking
try to
around.
lift this top.
yeah. And in the remake, I think they actually animated the backstory, so it's not just him,
Interesting.
waving his hands around. I
Right.
forget.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, you old frail man,
no, it's
please go over here and lift off this heavy stone top with me.
He looks like an old Guybrush. Well, actually, he looks more like an old Gabriel just with a ponytail, but he also looks like an old Guybrush
Why
Threepwood.
won't the damn lid come off?
Oh,
Okay,
this is,
so
Gabe's
let's
got
talk
long
about
arms.
this bit. So Wolfgang tells Gabriel that the only way that they can open up the sacrificial table is if they put a heart in this trough. So he asked Gabriel to go cut the heart out of the mummy over
Does
there.
it have one? My first question would be,
I don't
does it
know.
have one?
So when Gabriel goes to cut the heart out of the mummy, there's this dramatic cutscene where we hear the scream and Wolfgang pulls his heart out of his chest
Yep.
and puts it on the table. Now, I always thought that there was some sort of like dark voodoo magic involved, that like the spirits of Tedalo or whoever's left here like caused that to happen when Gabriel went to stab the mummy. But there's apparently the official explanation is that Wolfgang pulls out his own heart and sacrifices himself. But that doesn't make any sense to me, because if you know anything about human anatomy, you would know that it's pretty much impossible for a human being to like stick their hand with enough force through their chest to break through their rib cage and pull out their heart.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought there was some sort of magic involved.
Perhaps there is still some old Ritter magic left. Let me just sharpen my claws up here. But no, I always, when I played it for the first time, and if you read the novel, it's abundantly clear. He pulls his own heart out.
I went to the novel and saw that. That's where I got the official explanation from, because Jane Jensen wrote the novel. But yeah, I always, like, it makes more sense to me if it's some magic tied to this mummy that, like, when he stabs it, the heart comes out.
Yeah, but he never actually stabs it. That's the thing. Just before he plunges the knife in, he hears this awful tearing and ripping sound. And honestly, I think, I might be mistaken here, but I think in the novel, Wolfgang pulls out a knife and slices his chest open and sticks it out. Although,
okay, that would make a little bit more sense, although still, yeah, you have the rib cage to deal with.
And his motivation for doing that is... Oh, listen to the sound effects.
Yeah.
Yay! It looks like
no, he's stabbed. Look, he's got the thing all the way up to the hilt there.
Oh, good one on him.
Wolfgang.
Yeah.
No. Not a lot of emotion there, Mr. Curry. Could you try that again?
No.
No, still not good. Could you do it again?
And see, what made me think of it was this. You're gonna pay for this, you bitch. So he's blaming Tedalo for this. So that's why I thought there was some sort of like Tedalo-related magic that caused this to happen.
I can see that. Yeah. But then again, her magic is sort of left this place because the idol wasn't there. It's been transported to, again, spoiler, New Orleans.
Right.
And, let's just reuse this animation. Fuck it.
Well, I mean, Gabriel had a premonition.
Yeah, but what actually comes in and captures her?
Deep in the earth, I faced the fight that I could never win, the blameless and the base destroyed, and all that could have been by Gabriel Knight.
Shitty poet, shitty writer.
Yeah.
And
Also,
off we go.
how many days? Well, I guess he left on the 24th and he comes back on like the 28th. So I guess he's been gone for a few days.
And Grace, no spoiler, no points for guessing that Grace has been kidnapped, but who kidnapped her? Because that animation is just of some ethereal form descending upon St. George's books. And
so two things I want to point out here. First of all, that is a big stupid clue that comes out of nowhere that just tells you, hey, the Hound Fort's in Jackson Square. Second of all, if you flew into New Orleans, you would not fly in that close to Jackson Square. That's
well,
like
the plane sort of took a detour kind of thing.
that plane is like flying super low to be able to see Jackson Square that close. I mean, stylistically, yeah, it's a cool shot, but realistically, that would never happen. You'd have to be in like a helicopter to get that close to. Maybe he went for a helicopter ride of New Orleans.
Well, then again, we just went to a stone mound where zombies came alive and tried to eat our hearts. So
That's true. And an old man ripped his own heart out. So
yeah,
anything's possible.
yeah. But yeah, when I just to clear this up, when I played the game for the first time, I thought for the longest time, I thought he actually stuck his hands in Mola Ram style, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom style, and just ripped his own fucking heart out, and had the wherewithal to put it on the altar just before collapsing.
I think he threw it because he's like in
just
the
tossed
position.
it
He
and
just
hit a
goes,
bullseye?
"Whoa!" And he just like he did like a little cornhole thing.
It's like best. Okay, I've been playing basketball all my life, never got a shot, and boom, just got it right at the end there. Score, then
That's
collapse.
the magic of the Schottenjägers. Or maybe because he says that he feels like the energy and the magic of the talisman flowing through him. He's like, I have not felt so much energy ever. Maybe that's what gave him the energy to pull his own heart out. Who knows?
Which is also a silly line because he clearly looks like he has no fucking energy whatsoever.
Well, yeah.
Also, Mosley's back. He wasn't really dead.
Oh yeah, right. Mosley wasn't dead.
We kind of spoiled that for ourselves, but anyway.
Well, yeah.
And also braked him over the head. I think that was kind of a... Like, if I was editing the story, him braiding him over the head, I thought you were one of them. That whole bit kind of feels almost like shoehorned in, because the only reason it's there is, like, puzzle-wise, gameplay-wise, is because you need a credit card to book the flight to Germany.
Yeah.
And I think if you went back, that whole scene could feasibly be cut. I mean,
yeah,
introducing a scene where he goes to his like bank manager and tries to convince the person to give him a loan for a plane ticket, it wouldn't be a good substitute, but I'm sure you can find another way to do it.
Get serious.
Yeah.
Also, the episode's about to end. No, it isn't.
No, it isn't.
All right.
Oh,
We've still got 5 minutes of talking to Mosley.
yeah. All right, cool. I thought I cut it there. I did not. Looking good as ever. You can still insult him, which is like a complete, what is that? Like mischaracterization of how serious the plot has gotten now.
Yeah.
Well, Malia Getty is the head of the cartel.
All right, 5 days,
Dr.
he said.
John is her right-hand man. I learned that much. You sure know how to pick them.
Didn't exactly pick
I
him
don't
as I
care
just...
about what you said, Gabriel.
I just kind of threw myself at her, and for some reason I stuck.
The spirit of our ancestors, Tetelo. You don't say.
And this is the make a plan scene. But first we have to fill him in, and it's actually surprising.
But they probably still have
I mean, Gabriel has been kind of this sort of I stumble through life kind of protagonist up to this point, but he does have a good memory for details.
Well, he's a writer. He
Well,
would hopefully have a good memory for details.
well, you're a writer. Do you have like sticky memory for like years and dates and shit like that?
I have a good memory for useless trivia that means nothing.
Yeah, you'd never believe
But
Yeah,
I
me
have
too.
a terrible memery for the important things.
So,
I mean, I remember the important bits of it, but never like, okay, in 1782, someone tripped on a something. Anyway,
Sure. Well, I mean, I could tell you all sorts of obscure, meaningless facts about this game, for example, but I
Please
can't
do.
remember the name of a person I meet within like 5 minutes of meeting them.
me neither. I'm so bad with names, dates, and distances, and anything to do with numbers, really. Shit at it. Except,
By the way,
except Roman numerals.
147 pounds is 66.6 or 67.6 kilograms. We've
yes.
determined.
If anyone was keeping score, we kind of promised that in the
Yes.
early episodes. Oh, and Mosley also mentions that the police force is utterly useless and/or in the palm of the Gettys. So the Gettys are like a massive, political influence, and they also control all the crime elements. They basically own New Orleans.
voodoo people have taken.
But only New Orleans. You would imagine someone who could own a city of that size to want to sort of spread their wings and shit, but no, just New Orleans.
Well, maybe they were planning on spreading their Hound 4 out their Hound 4 Enterprise outward, but they never quite got a chance because Gabriel destroys them.
But
Spoilers.
Well, there are some parallels, I guess, to Marie Laveau, who Dr. John brought up at length.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, she was quite content with just, knowing everything that went on in New Orleans and just control her little empire, and, she didn't, spread out either, so I guess, you gotta know how to stay small in business.
Yeah, sure. The time for expansion is...
Only I had the tracker for
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what kills Enterprise. That's what's killed Sierra
Yes.
Online.
Exactly. Too much expansion too quickly
Yes.
is always a death knell.
All right.
Much like in fisting.
Oh my.
Sorry, I was just baiting with myself. Is that a dumb joke? Yes, it is. I'm gonna do it anyway. Fuck it.
Good.
Right.
Never censor yourself.
Yeah. Never Google that either.
No, don't. Please don't.
No. Anyway, off he fucks. Now we've laid a plan, somewhat. The plan apparently is just find the Hound 4, then leave a tracking device, and then
Do you read the newspaper at this point?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good, because I want to point out a continuity error here.
Cool.
Because it's June... Remember, it's June 29th, I believe, or June 28th. We'll see when the date of the paper comes in here.
Yeah, that was actually the reason why I asked you if you remember dates very well, because you seem to be very on board with the dates here.
June 28th, there we go.
June 28th, 1900.
Right. So there's this whole report about the
The
weather
Weather Service is baffled by the series
and a whole bunch of
bizarre
storms and
that
all the
rocked
crime
South
rate is up and all
yesterday.
these terrible things are happening and
The Armageddon is coming, basically.
20 died and close to 100 were in jail.
You can almost make
And
her
bad
facial
luck.
expression.
Here we go. Yes, the crime rate's peaked.
And food poisoning.
And food poisoning.
Jesus
Now pay
Christ.
attention. Pay attention to this next line.
In other words,
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, fuck it. I mean,
August will return to
July's
society.
probably going to be shit at least
Right,
anyway.
so they completely skipped over the month of July.
Yeah. Oh, fuck it. I mean, if June is such... I mean, we're at the end of June. It was June 28th, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be shit in July. Let's just wait for August.
I mean, July's a pretty terrible month anyway. Just
Yeah, that's when you have to
weather-wise
go
in
back
New
to work.
Orleans. Oh no, I just mean that July is hot and muggy and terrible in New Orleans anyway. But
So is August, I would imagine.
true, August actually can be worse, but whatever. Anyway, that's the episode.
Yeah. That was a good one. I like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, a lot happened.
I promise
Ooh,
not
and
to
the
make
next
any
one's-
fisting jokes next time.
Okay, the next one is extra long,
The next one is kind of a doozy.
baby.
So if anyone needs to go to the bathroom, well, if you're watching this right now, you have to wait a week anyway, so you have plenty of time to go to the bathroom. But
Be in there for a whole week.
just stay in the bathroom for a week, and then you can come out at 4 p.m. on next Wednesday, and we'll close up Gabriel Knight in your honor, really. Also, tweet us from the bathroom so we know you're all right.
Yes.
Francisco, do you have any parting words for our bathroom audience?
Follow me at Grundislav Games and check out my game Lamplight City. You can play it on the toilet.
Cool. If you bring your laptop, and it'll probably come out on like iPhone and shit, right?
It might be on iOS someday, so if it is, then you can really play it on the toilet.
And the train toilet and everything. Also, his shoe size is 9.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
And
height's 5'6". My weight is
Wait, I was
67.6
supposed
kilograms.
to remember all that, but anyway,
Oh.
then we'd be here forever. Anyway.
And my age is 35.
Yes, he's younger than me, and has accomplished so much more in his life, which is weird.
Oh,
and highly
blah.
depressing. Blah. Celebrated adventure game author. Anyway, well, that was oddly antagonistic. Anyway, thank
I
you
liked
so
it.
much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, do whatever you kids do, but do leave me a comment, and Francisco as well, because I truly do love him. I hope he knows that. I'm
gonna rip out my own heart and throw it at you.
Yeah, you do that, son. We'll see you next Wednesday when we conclude, in a very special, lengthy episode, Gabriel Knight's Sins of the Fathers. Until then, we'll see you around the Chrono Stream.